Thank you for joining us once again. Our ongoing coverage of the 2013 Race Across America continues. I'm Dave Toll, and we are really all over the western part of the United States and into mid-America now, as we are watching our teams. They're already 24, actually make it 30 hours into racing and setting a record pace. At times, they've been hauling along at 30 miles an hour, and that really is Team Allied Forces. But we'll check back in with our teams in a moment, because there's been some very interesting racing going on in our men's and women's solo category. Up at the front, it remains Christoph Strausser, as we watched him battle through some really rough conditions last night. There were some rerouting issues that the riders had to deal with, and obviously Strausser came to America hell-bent on winning this Race Across America and setting a record pace, because he's doing exactly that right now. Rito Schulk remains in second place. Rito has really settled into a rhythm of his own here. But then if you look back behind Rito, this is where the battle is really starting to shape up. We have a good 4 riders all looking to be third, it looks like at this point anyways, with no major changes expected, to be third in Indianapolis, Maryland. And we're going to see who's going to deliver the goods. If you follow along on our tour tracker, and there are a lot of telemetrics available to us here, I think the race gets really interesting between 7th and 15th place. And you have to wonder, the strategy for these riders, how hard it is to keep those wheels rolling at this point in the event when your body is screaming for sleep. These guys are really doing an amazing job. We're looking at Edward Fuchs. He has actually passed David Misch, as Misch was holding on to that 9th place spot. We're seeing a lot of back and forth here, going all the way up to 3rd. Danny Wies is really the last rider who probably would not feel all that safe. Now, looking back behind Danny Wies, it's Gerhard Gulwich sitting in 4th. He's really been consistently riding up in our top 5 ever since we left Oceanside. Marco Ballo, the Slovenian rider, is holding on to 5th. Mark Pattinson, the Englishman, they're from the United Kingdom, sitting in 6th. And then we find our top North American right now. They call him the Hammer, Jason Lane out of Canada. Now, as far as our top North American competitor goes, it's Chris Ragsdale trying to take that title from Lane, and he's got some pretty serious chasing to do right now. Ragsdale, top American. Mike Wilson is challenging him for that title. There cannot be an endurance sport in the world that requires more from the athletes physically, but maybe even more mentally than the 2013 edition of Race Across America. Riders will set landmarks for themselves, or benchmarks along the way. And certainly, as a majority of our field has made their way through the midway point of this race, it must be very encouraging for them to not only have been facing good conditions, or as good as we could hope for, but also to see, with only one rider having dropped out of this race, I think the physiology and the mentality of these riders is at an all-time high here in 2013. You have to remember now how hard it is day after day to stay on top of all of the different metrics. You not only need to make sure you're scheduling your rest blocks correctly, you got to worry about all of the team members that you've got with you, their state of mental health. It's very challenging for them. And of course, just ingesting 8,000 calories a day is a massive effort. It actually gets to be a hassle. So these riders are doing an amazing job of impressing us here at the 2013 Race Across America. As we pick up the action with our teams, this is a very interesting element as they go out very hard. Team Allied Forces, as we mentioned, their average speed is just 1 tick below 24 miles an hour. We've got them at this moment at 23.97. They have been carrying at times a 30-mile an average for many hours. It's interesting if you want to relate this back now. Our 8-rider teams are being split into 2 4-rider groups. 4 riders is what you would see at the Olympic event that no longer exists, but was one of the blue ribbon events for cycling, and that would be the team time trial. These guys are traveling as fast across America as many nations back then, and we're talking up to 1992 Barcelona Games, would travel in the 100K team time trial. So that puts you into relation for you what those guys were doing for 2 hours. We've already watched our top teams doing for more than a day, really approaching 30 hours at this point, and that speaks to the incredible ride rides that we're seeing put together by Team Allied Forces, and that's only one of the many teams that are in the chase. We saw some video footage of the teams checking in at one of the oases along the way. We've seen the bull shifters earlier in this race welcoming our solo riders through, and now it looks like the teams are having their chance to dip in the oasis as they continue on this race across America, the toughest 3,000 miles that you'll ever race. Moving on now to our 4-rider teams, and another one of the inspirational squads that we have with us here at the 2013 edition of RAAM would be the Fireflies. They are all in that under 50 category. They're all active firefighters, and they're averaging 21.83 miles right now to lead in that 4-person open category. 4 athletes powered by Gate Protect is the team that's currently sitting in second with Team Melanoma Exposed. Their average speed is very close to 21 miles an hour. They're sitting in third. As we pick up the action with our women's teams, the 4-rider and 2-rider squads, for 4 riders, it's love, sweat, and gears. They are flying 19.7 miles an hour. In the 2-person team, this is going to go down as one of the more notable rides in the history of RAAM, as Power, Pedals, and Ponytails are flying across the country at 18.29 miles an hour right now. One of the things that's been noted about the race across America is there's more people have summited Mount Everest than have finished this event solo. And it's amazing to me that right now we've only had 1 rider dropping out of the race. For all of our media teams across the United States, I'm Dave Toll. We thank you for joining us here at the RAAM Report powered by Train. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue to follow the action.